Welcome to the 5th episode of our talk show here on Advocates Philippines. Ako si Dale Kabukid. Makakasama natin sa ating panayam si Professor Danton Remoto, isang writer at chairman ng Ladlad Party List upang pag-usapan ang gender at sexual orientation sensitivity sa ating bansa. Prof, magandang araw po.
Magandang araw sa iyo, Dale. Thank you for inviting me to Advocates. Thank you so much.
Prof, unang tanong, ano nga po ba ang estado ng LGBTQ plus community sa ating bansa ngayon? Are we more accepting or more tolerating?
There's always a good news and a bad news. The good news is that there are so many new groups. Part of that comes from call center workers because these call centers, companies in the US, the mother companies, they have gender sensitivity policies and they have LGBT groups that they want the local counterpart in the Philippines to have. So in short, they encourage the formation of LGBTQ groups in the call centers. So they've organized themselves, as you can see in the attendance of the LGBT Pride March. So many people are attending it. Number two, because of social media, there's more organization because you have Facebook groups, you have Twitter groups, you have Instagram groups that deal with LGBTQ issues in the Philippines, or just forming friendships because friendships are very important, especially for young people, so they don't feel alone. The bad news naman is that it's more than 20 years in Congress and Senate, but our LGBTQ anti-discrimination bill has not yet been passed. In 2004, it was passed in Congress, it was already in the Senate, but then there was already an election. So, naabutan siya ng pagsara ng session. So, when it's not tackled, it goes back to committee in Congress. Although Senator Rizon Tiveros filed or refiled the LGBTQ, she called it a SOGI bill. SOGI is more comprehensive.
Bali, nabanggit mo po kanina is meron na mga naging move yung mga kabataan to make groups. Meron pa bang mga stigma na kinaharap ang community sa bansa natin ngayon despite dun sa mga move na ginagawa nila at saka ang dami-dami ng members?
Yeah, there's still stigma attached to it because of religion. Our religion is really mixed. Our religion is partly conservative and even medieval, makaluma. And then of course, the law does not protect us. There's no anti-discrimination law that protects us nationally. We always push lawmakers to pass a national bill, Congress and Senate. And if our LGUs are sympathetic, we push them to mas may success kami sa LGU with because an ordinance is a law. It is already a law in the city. So in Quezon City, Manila, Olongapo, Zamboanga, Cebu, General Santos, Legazpi City, it is illegal to discriminate against LGBTQs in the workplace and in the schools. So there's partial victory for us there.
Prof, ano po yung stand mo dun sa stereotyping sa LGBTQ plus community?
Stereotyping is bad, because it always generalizes. Anything that generalizes is wrong. Ang stereotype dati ng lesbian, I've been in this movement for more than 20 years, ang lesbian daw pwede niya lang work ay konduktora sa bus o kaya security guard. Ang bading naman noon, nasa beauty parlor or reporter ng showbiz. I was one of the first to come out in public. I was always serious in public. I was always well-read and well-researched lagi yung mga sagot ko. So I think I showed a new face to the LGBT movement na hindi reporter ng entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's a stereotype. At hindi rin hairdresser. So I changed that stereotype.
Punta naman po tayo sa may latest issue. Dun sa Christine Dacera case. The Makati Police Chief Harold Depositar has made bold statements about the members of the LGBTQ plus community na involved dun sa kaso. He was quoted saying, "Lalaki pa rin sila, may instinct yan, and lalo na if you're under the influence of intoxicating alcohol, and kung may presence of drugs pa, lalo na." Ano yung masasabi mo dito?
I came from a military family. My military and police family, and I'm personally embarrassed by what they're doing because my father and my cousins were very good police officers and military officers. So parang napapahiya kami sloppy investigation that they're doing. So I hope they will do better in the next few days. And they should stop the stereotyping. Because if you see the exchanges in Facebook among gay men, because gay men generally, when they're drunk, they become more gay, no? Even those in the closet, they become more madaldal, talkative, nagpa-fashion show,
Mm.
twerking pa nga daw sila, you know. So, and we gay men were very protective of our female friends, Dale. I'm sure you have female friends na may mga gay friends. Alagang-alaga namin yan kasi para yung kapatid na babae, I mean, you don't have sex with your sister, right? Pati nga yung mga naliligaw sa mga friends namin babae, kami pa yung nag-i-interview niyan because we're so protective. So I don't think that this is just me talking from what I've researched and read, that there is rape there, no?
Doon po sa naging statement ni Harold Depositar na lalaki pa rin sila, yung ganong klaseng statement, makaka-apekto ba ito sa LGBTQ plus community at pati na rin sa general public?
Kasi yung lalaki pa rin sila, for example, no, they keep on citing the late, I will not mention his name na lang because he's dead na. There's a former hairdresser who has 7 kids, no? Who has 7 kids. So he's capable of producing children if he wants to, no? That hairdresser or this movie reporter who has 3 or 4 kids because they want it. But generally, gay men, you know, we can't imagine having sex with women. Yung mga nakabuntis na mga hairdresser at reporter, they had children because they wanted to have children. No?
Sinabi ng isang suspect noong January 5, isa sa mga suspect doon, si Gregorio de Guzman. At sinabi niya na, paano po naging rape? Bakla po ako. Never po ako nakikipagtalik sa babae ever in my life. Hindi ako natuturn on sa mga babae. Isn't exposing oneself too much para lang madepensahan yung sarili?
I think what happened here is that they were pushed against a wall, no? Kahit naman ako siguro i-accuse na nakipag-sex sa babae, sabihin ko, hindi ko pwede yun kasi hindi naman ako talaga nati-turn on eh. Kahit magubad pa yun sa harap mo, no? Kasi imagine pagbibintangan ka, tapos alam mo Dale, kinuyog sila sa social media. In social media, they have so many messages, private, you know, yung mga messages na hindi mo naman kilala. Minumura, kayo mga bakla, PI kayo, etc. etc. During the early days, di ba? Kasi akala nga ng mga tao, rape. O akala pa ng iba, binugaw si Miss Christine, di ba? Na binagbayad yung mga, binayaran yung mga bakla. But as I said before, I cannot imagine gay men doing that to their friend, na girl. Because yung girl na yan, faghag yan eh, kapatid mo yan eh. I mean, you don't do that, no? So I think Mr. De Guzman was pushed against a wall and he had to defend himself by the best way he can do so by saying that I haven't had sex with a woman. No?
Bale, nagmukha po nga siyang trial by publicity. Dumating din sa point na may isang nadawit sa kaso kasi kasama siya sa isang video noong November pa. Ano yung masasabi mo dito?
So this is called the trial by publicity, which means that you associate someone with a crime just because he or she is with that person before, no? So it shows a lack of logic. Wala namang logic yan. Porque kasama ni X si Y, pag may nangyari kay Y, David si X, no? So we should be more critical. At saka dahil napansin ko sa social media, lahat naman nagko-comment without, hindi naman lahat, marami nagko-comment without thinking, no? We should be more logical, more reasonable, and avoid judgments. We should not prejudge a case because all cases should be backed up by solid and hard evidence.
Sir, ano kaya yung pwedeng gawin para ma-recognize at maging aware ang mga tao sa plight ng LGBTQ plus community?
As I've always said the past 20 years, Congress and Senate should pass the Anti-Discrimination Bill. No? Whether it's the Anti-Discrimination Bill, ADB, or the more comprehensive SOGI bill, okay lang sa akin, no? I am a very practical person, Dale. So my first step is I hope they pass the anti-discrimination bill that says simply, number 1, no discrimination in the schools, number 2, no discrimination in the workplace, number 3, no discrimination sa pagkuha ng lisensya, sa trabaho, o professional life, no? Yun lamang hinihingi ng ADB. Because if you pass that, Dale, the LGBTQs are protected by the law.
Prof, bilang panghuli na lang po, ano yung mga matututunan natin mula rito?
Number one, we should not think of people in terms of stereotypes. No? We should open ourselves to the possibility that people are complex beings. No? Number two, we should not prejudge any case. Any case, legally, it needs evidence. Ang evidence, as I said, dalawa yan. Isa is documentation, printed or visual, CCTV. Isa ay eyewitnesses. Number three, we should be more careful with our social media postings. No? Number three, social media postings, because I've noticed that in the last several years, Filipinos are more harsh, no, in their comments about other people. Kasi anonymous eh, wala namang real name, walang real face. I don't know if they're trolls, no, pero walang real name, real face, walang accountability with the comments, no. So we should be more careful of protecting people's reputation, especially those we do not know.
On that note, maraming salamat po, Professor Danton Remoto.
Thank you.
Magkita-kita tayong muli dito sa Advocates Philippines. Ako si Dale Kabukin.